Over in the pages of Marvel Comics' main Amazing Spider-Man series, some of the villains in Peter's life are headed to the forefront of the series, as the villainous Doc Ock, Otto Octavius, just went ahead and powered up his arms with the mysterious Octoids. Doc Ock went ahead and set his sights over on Norman Osborn, currently trying to alter his morality from the villainous Green Goblin to the heroic Gold Goblin. My name is Arico Braddock, and today, let's go ahead and take a look at the Amazing Spider-Man number 30 to see if Norman Osborn's resolve will hold strong. But before we get deeper into the video, want to encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button. Spidey goes one last round with the new and improved Doc Ock. Can his newest ally help turn the tide? Amazing Spider-Man 30 is written by Zeb Wells, featuring art from Ed McGuinness, inks from Mark Farmer, Cliff Rathbun and Ed McGuinness. We have colors from Marcio Menyz, letters from VC's Joe Caramagna, and the cover for the issue is coming in directly from Ed McGuinness and Marcio Menyz. We have a look over at the upgraded Doc Ock battling against the also upgraded Spider-Man, using some of his arms to kind of even the score against him. And really like some of the expressions that artist Ed McGuinness is able to capture with these characters, as well as some of the colors over in the background, making this cover so kind of climactic for Peter and Doc Ock. Want to thank Adventures in Poor Taste for posting this preview and dive into some of the artwork over in the issue from Ed McGuinness. I've appreciated Ed McGuinness's more animated line, especially in the context of this more animated Zeb Wells run, featuring some really off-the-wall expressions for both Doc Ock and Norman Osborn. While I definitely take a lot of the material with Norman Osborn seriously, I feel like a lot of these scenes with Doc Ock do result in this kind of twisted sense of humor. The issue opens on a really interesting note here, as Doc Ock has just injected Norman with some of that goblin serum and trying to turn him back into the villainous Green Goblin once again here. So from the very first page of the issue, Norman's resolve is directly being tested. Love some of the expressions that Ed McGuinness is able to capture from the various characters throughout some of these pages. And also the colors in the issue are just fantastic from Marcio Menyz. There's so many moments of negative space here to make pages really, really interesting across some of these issues. There's also fantastic page designs over from Ed McGuinness. Take a look at this page design that we have up on the screen, featuring a big and kind of bold panel over in the background with several smaller panels over in the foreground of the issue. Over on this page as well, the kind of oblong-shaped panels definitely add this sense of kind of chaos over to the series that Ed McGuinness and Zeb Wells both tap into. This is also a big fight sequence after the last couple issues of Spider-Man have built up the kind of confrontation between Norman, Peter, and Doc Ock here. So really think Ed McGuinness is able to deliver on the sense of fisticuffs throughout the tale. I want to switch over to Zeb Wells and examine some of his contributions over in the story. First of all, I love this tone of the series. You'd think after the previous arc of the tale that the Amazing Spider-Man would need more time to process character deaths. But with the upcoming Hellfire Gala kind of changing some of the mechanics of that death, there really doesn't seem to be a need to allow that much time to mourn throughout the series. When Peter Parker was able to fuse with some of the arms from Doc Ock, I really appreciated how Zeb Wells has featured the arms throughout so many issues of his run. Thankfully, with the help of Norman Osborn, Peter is able to wrap up his fight over with Doc Ock in the series, and I'm thinking that Peter's fusion over with the arms of Doc Ock have also kind of influenced his character. I'm interested to see if that plot line is going to really introduce a different sort of Peter Parker, as we're kind of teasing that Peter's mood may change, affecting some upcoming stories here. Very interested to see how that storyline plays out in future installments. And Also, towards the end of the issue, when Peter and Norman had a chance to reflect over on some of the recent events over in the series, I also appreciated how Wells kind of throughout this book has taken the time to push characterization over with Peter and Norman to introduce one of the most fully fleshed out aspects of this series. I've said it in the past and I'll say it again. I think the relationship between Norman and Peter is one of the driving forces in The Amazing Spider-Man as it currently stands here. So over in terms of The Amazing Spider-Man issue 30, I thought this was a solid comic book that did a great job wrapping up those elements over between Doc Ock and Norman. It was fantastic to have an arc focusing in on Norman Osborn, seeing if he was going to stay a hero over in the long run. I definitely think that character is a lot more interesting when he's aligned over on the side of Peter Parker with some of the heroes in the Marvel Universe. Again, I'm really impressed by this series. Even though this comic book has a really weird and slapstick tone, it was still able to affect me emotionally towards those final scenes. And I think the dramatic implication of Norman kind of backsliding throughout this arc has also introduced the dramatic tension I'm looking for over in a Spider-Man story. I want to know from you, are you enjoying The Amazing Spider-Man 30? What are some of your thoughts over on these previous issues? Thanks so much for checking out the series, and I'll be back for more comic book videos. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.